A Memphis woman charged tonight after police say she tried to run over her ex-boyfriend while driving an SUV not once, but multiple times, leaving the victim seriously injured tonight. 39-year-old Tanieka Ray is now looking at an attempted murder charge. WREG's Harrison Klopp caught up with the man who called police and perhaps saved that man's life.
When Roy Turner tried to break up with his girlfriend, she had a whole different plan. Tanieka Ray didn't cry, didn't beg, didn't even argue. She got in her black Mitsubishi Outlander and ran that man over, not once, not twice, 3 to 4 times. And y'all, she was shouting at him the whole time, telling him exactly what she was about to do. December 2025, Southwest Memphis. Let me tell you how a breakup turned into attempted murder. When the clock strikes midnight, the truth comes out. I'm 12 a.m. crime, and every single day I bring you real cases of domestic violence that turn deadly. The stories the system tried to bury, the victims who deserve justice. If you're about that raw, unfiltered truth, hit subscribe. New case drops every day at midnight. Don't sleep on justice. This is 12 a.m. crime. Roy Turner and Tanieka Ray were in a relationship. They were living together in Southwest Memphis, doing what couples do. But lately, things weren't right. Tanieka had been estranged according to neighbors, meaning she was still around, but the connection was broken. You know how that goes. You're living with someone, but you're not really with them anymore. The love is gone, but neither person wants to be the one to say it out loud. Roy Turner was done. He made up his mind that Saturday morning in December. He was going to end it for real this time. No more back and forth, no more trying to make it work. He wanted out. But see, Tanieka Ray wasn't the type to just let a man walk away. That morning on Gilleas Road, Roy Turner told Tanieka it was over. We don't know exactly what words he used, but we know what happened next. And girl, what happened next was completely out of pocket. Tanieka got in her black 2019 Mitsubishi Outlander. Roy Turner must have known something was wrong because he started trying to get away from her. He was running, in his own neighborhood, running from the woman he used to sleep next to every night. Carlos Brantley, Roy Turner's neighbor, was sitting in his house when he heard the commotion. He said,
I was sitting in the house, I heard, some kind of ruckus out here, and I said, let me go see what's going on, about time.
Carlos had no idea what he was about to walk into. By the time Carlos got outside, Tanieka had already hit Roy Turner with her SUV. The man was lying in Carlos's driveway, completely broken. Carlos said,
he was laying in my driveway, laid down like he couldn't get up, he couldn't move and stuff, so I rushed out, gave him some aid.
But here's where it gets real crazy. While Carlos was trying to help Roy Turner, trying to keep this man alive, Tanieka was still out there. She wasn't done. Carlos said, the perpetrator was going up and down the street taunting us. Make it make sense. You just ran a man over and now you're driving back and forth like it's a parade. Roy Turner later told police that Tanieka plowed into him initially and then ran him over 3 to 4 times as he tried to escape. 3 to 4 times. Every time he thought he was safe, here she comes again. Witnesses told police they saw Tanieka ramming Roy Turner with her Outlander multiple times. After he tried to run and fell into a neighbor's yard, she kept coming. She was making U-turns, shouting profanity at Roy Turner on the ground. She was screaming that she was going to run him over, that she was going to kill him. Roy Turner's body was giving out. His hips shattered, his spine broke, his ankle twisted in ways it shouldn't. Carlos found him propped up against a fence on the 500 block of Gilleas Road, and the man could barely hold his head up. Carlos told reporters he thought he was dead when his head was up under that car. He thought he was gone. Period. Roy Turner genuinely believed those were his last moments on Earth. His head was underneath Tanieka's vehicle. His body was broken in multiple places, and the woman he used to love was behind the wheel. But Carlos Brantley wasn't about to let his neighbor die in a driveway. He started giving Roy Turner aid right there, doing whatever he could to keep him stable. And while he's trying to save a life, Tanieka is still circling the block, still taunting them, like she wanted them to know she did it, like she was proud. Then she sped off. Carlos said she slammed into a utility pole a few houses down the road. The impact was so hard it knocked out street lights. The whole front of that Mitsubishi was damaged, but even after crashing her own vehicle, Tanieka wasn't sticking around to face what she'd done. She got out and ran. On foot, left her wrecked SUV right there and disappeared into South Memphis. Meanwhile, Roy Turner was fading. Carlos called 911, and when the Memphis Fire Department arrived, they initially listed Roy Turner in non-critical condition. But as doctors started examining him at the hospital, they realized how bad it really was. The man's spine was broken, both hips fractured, his ankle was destroyed, multiple dislocated body parts. He needed surgery, immediate surgery. They upgraded him to critical condition. Carlos told reporters, "You know he's in bad shape, but he's going to be all right." But let's be real, Roy Turner's life changed forever that morning. Even if he survives this, even if he walks again, he's going to carry those scars. Physical and mental. Police arrived at the scene on Gilleas Road and started piecing together what happened. They had witnesses. They had Carlos's testimony. They had the victim's own words. Once he was stable enough to talk, Roy Turner told police exactly what Tanieka did, how she hit him initially, then came back for more. 3 to 4 times. He described trying to run, trying to get away, falling into that yard, and then just being helpless, watching her come at him again and again. Detectives talked to other neighbors who saw the whole thing go down. Everyone said the same thing. Tanieka Ray was behind the wheel of that black Outlander, and she was intentional about what she was doing. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a moment of panic. She was shouting that she was going to kill him, and then she tried to make good on that promise. The police put out word they were looking for Tanieka Ray, a 39-year-old black woman who just tried to murder her ex-boyfriend in broad daylight. She couldn't have gotten far on foot.
She almost killed him, man, you know. Broke both his hips, broke one of his legs. You know, he's in bad shape, but he's going to be all right, though.
Carlos Brantley speaking with your news leader a day after witnessing his neighbor getting run over by his ex-girlfriend.
I was sitting in the house, I heard, you know what I'm saying, some kind of ruckus out here, you know. And I said, let me go see what's going on. By the time I get outside, I see my neighbor, Arthur. He was laying in my driveway, laid down like he couldn't get up, he couldn't move and stuff, so I rushed out, gave him some aid. And as I was doing that, the perpetrator was calmly going up and down the street, taunting us.
The woman taunting the two men, police say, is 39-year-old Tanieka Ray, a woman Brantley had seen around his Southwest Memphis neighborhood before. He had heard she was problematic, but this time he saw it with his own eyes.
And so I'm on 911 and I'm trying to drag him out of, danger, Call the people, trying to drag him out. And I flagged his brother down. His brother came and helped me. Told him up on the porch to get him out of harm's way. And during that, the girl kept going up and down the street till she finally hit the street pole down there and knocked the lights out. Almost blew up the whole block. I'm telling you, everything was lit up.
The victim was taken to the hospital by the Memphis Fire Department in non-critical condition, but was later upgraded to critical condition. The man suffered multiple broken bones and several dislocated body parts, which will require surgery. Tanieka Ray has been arrested and charged with criminal attempted first-degree murder after Brantley said she was suffering from a broken heart.
I guess she was trying to get back with him, and he just didn't want to have no dealings with her no more. She just went crazy.
From Southwest Memphis, Harrison Coffey News Leader, WREG, News Channel 3.
And Ray is currently being held on a $250,000 bond.
Monday morning, Tanieka Ray stood in front of a judge for the first time. She was 39 years old, looking around that courtroom like she couldn't believe where she ended up. But the judge wasn't there for her confusion. The judge was there to make sure she understood exactly what she was facing. Attempted first-degree murder, a Class A felony. The judge told Tanieka that if she's found guilty, she could spend the next 15 to 60 years in prison. 15 to 60 years. Let that sink in. One bad decision, one moment of refusing to let go, and now she's staring down the barrel of spending the rest of her productive life behind bars. Her bond was set at $250,000. $250,000. Unless she can come up with that kind of money, she's staying in lockup until her trial. And honestly, given what she did, that bond makes sense. You can't run a man over multiple times and expect to walk out of jail on a light bond. She's due back in court, and the case is moving forward. Prosecutors aren't playing games with this one. They've got witnesses. They've got the victim's testimony. They've got physical evidence from the crash scene. This is as clear-cut as it gets. His son Demetrius King, Mechi Turner, posted on Facebook on the 1st of January, saying second best thing that's happened, end day New Year, is my dad doing good, just got out of surgery. Day first, best thing is day, Lord woke us up this morning. He got out of surgery at about 11 a.m. They did his left hip. He is still intubated. He will not be woke today at all. Because of that, they're leaving it in till after his surgery tomorrow.
This is News Channel 3 at 4.
The Memphis woman accused of using her SUV to run over her boyfriend was in court this morning for the first time. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Coleman. April is off today. Tanieka Ray is charged with attempted first-degree murder. The judge telling the 39-year-old if she's found guilty of the charge, she could spend decades in lockup. WREG's Sharita Patterson with more on what landed Ray in police custody.
Shortly after the sun peaked out Monday, and we were getting our first peek at the woman accused of causing chaos post-Christmas.
Ms. Ray, you're charged with attempted first-degree murder.
Tanieka Ray is accused of using her vehicle as a weapon, targeting, police say, her ex-boyfriend. Saturday here along Gilleas Road, not far from West Mitchell, is where that attack happened, detectives describe. Hearing the commotion and seeing the aftermath was the victim's neighbor, Carlos Brantley.
Living with me, but she has been estranged lately.
Mr. Brantley said the victim tried cutting ties with Ray, but she was having none of it.
She just been cutting up because, he put her out.
In much the same way you hear the wailing of the wind in our interview with Mr. Brantley.
Came outside just to see what was going on.
He heard wailing coming from his neighbor due to severe injuries.
He said he thought he was dead on his head. When he was up on that car, he thought he was gone.
It is alleged Tanieka Ray began shouting with profanity that she was going to run him over and that she was going to kill him. From there, detectives say Ray followed through with one of her threats, running the victim over several times.
I think both his hips are broken, his spine, his fractures are broken, his ankles are broken, and a rupture, main artery in the left leg.
The woman who spent her time in court looking around is looking at the possibility of many years in prison. The judge telling Tanieka Ray she could spend the next 15 to 60 years in lockup if she is found guilty of that Class A felony. For now, she remains in lockup unless she can pay that $250,000 bond. She's due back in court tomorrow. We'll keep you updated. Reporting for your news leader inside the CJC, Sharita Patterson, WREG, News Channel 3.
And Tanieka Ray was appointed counsel and is set to have a bail review hearing tomorrow.
This case out of Southwest Memphis is another reminder that domestic violence doesn't always look like bruises and black eyes. Sometimes it's a woman who can't accept that a relationship is over. Sometimes it's a man who thought he could just walk away and start fresh. And sometimes it escalates so fast that you don't even have time to call for help before you're lying in a driveway with a broken spine. Tanieka Ray made a choice that morning. She chose violence over letting go. She chose attempted murder over heartbreak. And now Roy Turner is fighting for his life in a hospital bed while she sits in a cell, waiting to see if she'll spend the next few decades in prison. Carlos Brantley told reporters that Tanieka was suffering from a broken heart and couldn't deal with it. But here's the thing, a lot of people suffer from broken hearts. Most of them don't get in a car and try to kill somebody. Most of them cry, get therapy, lean on friends, and eventually move on. Tanieka Ray is 39 years old enough to know better, old enough to walk away, old enough to understand that when someone says, it's over, you don't get to decide otherwise. But she made her choice, and now she's got to live with it. Roy Turner is still fighting, still breathing, still alive, despite everything Tanieka tried to do to him that Saturday morning on Gilleas Road. This is 12 a.m. Crime, where we tell the stories that don't make sense, where we shine a light on the violence that happens behind closed doors and in neighborhood driveways, where we remember the victims and hold the perpetrators accountable. Tanieka Ray versus Roy Turner, a breakup that turned into attempted murder, a neighbor who became a hero, and a community in Southwest Memphis that watched it all happen in real time.